Chapter 87. It started to rise out of my arm, but together Colt and I grabbed it, pulling it back down. I took the water canister from Colt's pocket, and we shoved the needle down in the bottle. The needle had automatic suction, but Harolt's could only control the movement to the strength of its motor. My program is telling me that a liquid is still going up the tube. My sensor says it's the water, but it cannot detect the other substance. But water is not going to harm me. No, it won't. But Harolt's, there's one thing I know about metal. It can't take salt or sugar, and that's in there too. I took the salt from one pocket and sugar from the other, from all my meals, and placed them in my pocket. I knew what you were the moment I was in the barn, and I knew how I could stop you. Colt broke off the syringe from the tube and, taking a handful of the salt, he put them in one by one. Henry. Yes, help me, Henry called out in frustration. I cannot, father. 2 men have come from behind holding me. I could hear Henry in pain as he fell to the floor. Stay down, pup. I heard a snarl. It was Alpha and the stallion, but where was Abel? We put in all the salt packs. Please, I don't want to die. Please, sweet girl, I daren't. Don't you know, Harolt's, by now, sweet-talking doesn't save anyone, not even you. Besides, to die will be an awfully big adventure. We held the tube till it was no longer fighting to get away and all the salt packets were gone. We looked to each other. Henry passed out from whatever pain Harolt's had caused him. The stallion put him over his shoulder. Alpha took the knife from Colt. Learn how to use a knife. Behind the control panel was a strange plug. Alpha unplugged it, then cut off the end and held it up with a howl. The lights went out with the screens dimming. A light came in the room. It was Abel holding a green light of some sort. Miss me? We went from the room after Alpha had gorilla hit the control panel with his fists and feet, very much upset about the situation. I grabbed the rooster from the panel. We started walking toward the elevator. All around us I heard screeches and moans. What is that? Abel asked. The Ragers, we need to get to level 20 now. Why there? Said Alpha. Because that's where the kids are, and Lavender's mom, and it's just too much to explain. Just help me get to level 20 before the Ragers get here. I have a feeling Harolt's released them as a last attempt to stop us. And I was right. There were all these Ragers coming at us. Luckily, it was a new experiment, so there were only 10 or so. Some were women, crazed for no reason, tearing and clawing, biting, trying to find some relief. Alpha handled more than his share, getting out his taste for blood. Colt helped put some out as well, but he seemed to be invisible to them, and he seemed to have a hard time putting a hand to them without great difficulty. But why? Because they were beyond help, even attacking one another. I knew there had to be more up top from what I had seen. Fighting our way to the elevator, I realized there was no power, so we would have to take the stairs, which took a while to find. Abel was at such a fast pace with the light. We made it to the 20th floor. We opened the door. Children were crying, looking for anyone to comfort them. They saw their father in our arms. Daddy! They all were crying. He's okay. We're going to get you out of here soon, okay? It's all okay. Daddy's just sleeping. Lavender is over there. Lavender's mom is in the room over there. This room is the kids' mother's. The lights came on. Generators, Stallion huffed. See, kids, it's okay, just a little blackout. We will come back, okay? Next, I had to pull my way from some of the clinging kids. Abel went to Lavender's door, then ripped the door open from its lock with one pull, the door half hanging from its hinges. Abel was going to her when Lavender stood up on her own. What's going on? Abel asked. I could always walk, but we knew what Harolt's was looking for. I was always part of the plan, but plans change, and I was hoping to stay with you. Abel just held her so tight. As long as you're okay, he was crying as she hushed him. I know it's a lot to ask, but the babies need to be given to the mothers. They will need to be kept fed. Then can you stay with the younger ones, keep them from freaking out? They aren't on the water like everyone else. Colt and us can go get the rest of the herd to help move everyone. Sound good? Lavender said with Abel still hugging her tight. We have work to do, Abel love. He nodded and wiped his tears. We were already leaving. I saw the door broke down to see Alpha looking at a load of skin and bones separated from one another. She just fell apart when the water burst out. There was nothing to save. Don't tell Lavender. Colt looked to Alpha. Don't intend to. Alpha, it's not my place, but stay here. There may be more fighting to do still. Close and lock the doors and protect this level with Abel. Abel, boy, you're right. It is not your place to tell me what to do. Know your place, he snarled. Stallion came over, still holding Henry. Do what he says. Alpha snorted. Fine. After locking up the best we could the level and giving the mothers each a baby to feed, since we had no idea whose was whose, Colt and I entered the elevator with Henry. We got to the top without a problem. The employees had no idea what was going on, but their last instructions were to treat me as a paying guest with respect. So seeing Harlt's in my arm, they left us alone.